Math is a foundational piece for you to be able to do all these neat things. And the hard part is for all of us. I mean, when we were youngsters and we looked at that math stuff, if somebody didn't explain the context for us, it was hard to jump into it and say, I'm really going to take this and learn it. It was a lot more fun to go play baseball, for example, than to study in what you got to study in math. But the fact of the matter is, to do the fun things that come later, you've got to be able to get that foundational exercise out of the way.
Hi, my name is Yvonne. If you're watching this, you're probably a student in an algebra class wondering when you're going to use this stuff. I thought so too until I realized I use algebra almost every day at my job to do stuff like take inventory. So we've asked a couple of students in high school and college to come and talk to you about how they use algebra in their everyday lives. Here are some of their responses.
My name's Kristina. I'm a freshman at the University of Arizona. I'm studying math and biology. And for algebra, I've used it in a number of areas. For example, when I was in Thespians, I worked with construction crew and theater tech, and surprisingly, even actors do have to use algebra once in a while. Currently, I am working with a political organization, and algebra has been helpful. For example, with marketing, you have to use mixture problems, and also, though it's not totally algebra, there's a great deal of statistics involved. So algebra really is something that is involved in every major, every career, and that's the reason why it's taught in high school is important to actually learn.
Hi, I'm Gray. I'm a freshman in college. When I graduated high school, I didn't think I'd ever need math again. Turns out it's a lie, because I'm a history major, and history has roots in globalization, economics, and economics is pretty much founded upon algebra. So, algebra is important for that reason. You won't be able to understand the world around you or look back into the past to see, well, where we went wrong or what we did right.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm a sophomore in college now. I'm studying nursing. I used algebra to help convince my parents to let me move out of the house into my own house. You need to convince them to why it's a better deal. You can also use algebra to apply for a job at Pizza Hut. If you don't pass the test on what ingredients to use and how to use the ingredients, you can't get the job. You also use a lot of algebra in chemistry and biology. Really helps.
My name is Mimi, and I'm a senior at the U of A, and I've used algebra in pretty much all of my science classes, and an econ class that I have to take this semester. So it's been important. If you're trying to figure out the concentration across a gradient, algebra is important. Or if you're trying to figure out profit maximizing points, algebra is important. And if you're trying to get through math, algebra is important.
Those were all college students, but what about using algebra outside a classroom while you're still a high school student?
Hey, I'm Brian. I'm a high school senior, and I'm on our school's robotics team. As part of that, I use algebra pretty much every day for answering questions such as how fast should a drill bit move when we're drilling a piece of aluminum, to how strong does the robot have to be in order to lift something. I'm also a pilot, and one of the biggest questions I have to answer is, where are we going to go? You can look at a map and say where to go, but the compass isn't exactly pointing in the right direction, so you have to use algebra to figure out which direction to fly. You also have to use algebra to figure out how much gas you're going to burn and how much gas you need to bring with you, depending on how heavy your plane is. So I use algebra pretty much every day, and especially while flying.
Algebra 1 is not the most glamorous of math subjects, nor is it anywhere near the top of the math food chain. Despite that, it is used extensively in science. Chemistry is a prime example of that. Chemistry does not require high levels of math. The most you'll ever need is Algebra 1, but without Algebra 1, you could not complete chemistry to any degree of proficiency. I also use Algebra 1 on a regular basis in my science fair project, which is in the field of astronomy. Even though I'm talking about very esoteric topics, Algebra 1 is the highest level math that I need, and it has carried me far through learning about all fields of science. So it is a very useful tool in everyday life.
Hi, my name is Stan Palasek, and I'm a high school student. In my science fair project, I used algebra to isolate variables, and I found the rates of change of metabolism in yeast. So I used that to get an overall picture of how quickly CO2 is being added to the system, and that was used to show the effects that influence metabolism at different times.
So hey, I'm Dennis, and I use algebra every day, from working out to eating to basically driving. You want to eat a lot of food? There's algebra. You want to work out, count your reps, count your sets? Algebra. Chemistry, later on in life, you can't go anywhere without algebra. Do algebra.
Hello, I'm Cody Cushing, and I use algebra pretty much every day, mostly in physics and chemistry class, where pretty much everything we do is algebra, just from knowing how fast something drops after you drop it, I suppose, to knowing how much pressure a gas has. Algebra is incredibly important to me in my everyday life.
Hi, my name is Samir, and I use algebra in almost everything. I spend a lot of time on the internet checking out cars, the latest cars outside, and I do a lot of calculations on power, torque, power to weight ratio, other uses, use math and everything. I've used it in aeronautics class. It was great, got me an A, so you definitely know that algebra is really helpful, and you can definitely use it for anything. Life is all about numbers, so I definitely think that's algebra is really important.
Now that you've seen people really do use this stuff, what types of majors in college or careers do you think require knowing algebra? And can you imagine a day where you didn't use anything that needed algebra to make or operate? How different would your life be?